What's up guys, Rhino here and welcome to my latest FIFA 19 video. In this video guys, I'm going to be looking into another squad builder for you guys of a potential team that you could go for at the start of the game when it does drop on either Tuesday or Friday for you guys, depending on when you're going to get it, or maybe even a little bit later if you're not pre-ordering the game. But this is the sort of team that you could get at the start. Just before I go into it though, I just want to say that I was hoping to do some more of the SBCs that we didn't complete in the previous video on the squad builder challenges, but unfortunately I was sort of looking through and I don't really seem to have enough players at the moment in order to actually complete like a full set. I can do maybe like one or two individual parts of one, but I'd like to do them as a set in a video for you guys just to make it a little bit clearer on how to do them. So I'm gonna wait on that front until I can do a little bit more. Whether or not that will be once the game's out or if that'll be during the period between obviously now and the game coming out for me on Tuesday, I'm not sure. Depends on what players I can get in various packs in like daily gifts and stuff like that. Which brings me on to another thing guys. You may have seen it if you've tried to log onto the web app, or you could have just seen it on Twitter or maybe like EA's Facebook page or something like that. They've disabled daily gifts. I don't know how long for. They don't really seem to state why. They've just essentially said that there's an issue with them and they're trying to resolve it. Now, I mean, I've never ever known anything like it, if I'm honest. I don't see how there can be an issue with them. The only thing that's maybe crossed my mind is that obviously we were very surprised how good they've been this year, in that, you know, we've been getting different packs that have been specific to various leagues. Maybe they've looked at it and they're like, oh shit, we've not been giving out bronze gift packs, let's change that and sort that out, and they'll probably come back up and we'll just be getting absolutely nothing again, potentially. I'm hoping that they don't change. I'm hoping it's literally just like a little error. They're just gonna like reboot the system or something and it'll be fine, it'll be good to go again. But you know, if they nerf them, if they make them a lot worse, I'll be pretty disappointed. And also, like, you know, today's getting on. I mean, at the time of recording, you see in the bottom is we're near like 20 to 10 in the UK. That's only leaving like just over 2 hours left to get this the gift for this particular day. So I mean, they need to hurry up, else people are going to miss out and people won't be happy. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but at this stage of the game, the small things that you can get, they really help and they really build towards your squad. So yeah, I mean, if they don't get one today, then I'd like to think that we'd all kind of receive some sort of compensation from EA. So for example, maybe like tomorrow, if it was back up and running, we'd get 2 gifts instead of 1, just to make up for it. I don't really see how that would be like too difficult for EA to implement, and you know, it's not exactly going to make much of a difference to them either. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully it is sorted, but it isn't sorted as of yet. So unfortunately, I've not had a daily gift yet today, and I'm not happy about it. But on to the main kind of part of the video, what I'm here to show you guys. As you can see, gone for a Serie A squad for this particular concept squad that I've put together of players that you might want to buy. Again, I'll kick it off in goal. So like I said before, you can't really decide with goalkeepers. It's just, you know, trial and error really. But I've gone for Mirante from Roma, 80 overall. One of the more actually higher rated cards out of all the ones I put together. In this particular squad, I didn't really go for too many that were 80 or above, just because I wanted to keep it like really cheap. I know in the last one, I had a few players that were 3,000 coins and quite a few that were like 2,000 plus. I've tried to keep it a little bit lower on this one, and I was able to do that really. There's some decent players. I've not got as many players as I had in the Premier League team, but in this particular one, it's not looking too bad. It's a solid little squad. This guy is 6'4" as well, which you can see down here, and obviously I said about how I like to have a goalkeeper. He's quite tall, fairly well-rounded stats. He has like good stats in all the sort of areas that I would say are the most useful for a goalkeeper, so like diving, reflex, handling, positioning. Kicking's not really that overly important, and neither is speed. I mean, 44 is quite low, but it only comes into consideration stuff like when you're like rushing out if a player gets into a one-on-one. and you don't even always do that. You don't always rush out. It depends on the situation. So the main stats you need, he's pretty solid. In terms of a price for him, I've got him written as literally 500 coins. Yeah, dirt cheap for an 80 overall as well. It's because he's non-rare, so he's very, very easy to get. At right back, we've got Karsdorp. Now, he's actually a player from, you know, he was pretty cheap and sort of, well, frequently used, I'd say. Obviously, there's a few options usually at fullback in this league. I didn't really see many at right back though for this on this FIFA, but you know, he's the kind of like standout one for me with the 87 pace. And you know, 70 plus in every other stat except for shooting, but who cares about shooting as a right back? It really doesn't make a difference. So he'd be decent. He comes in at 1,500 coins, so that's, you know, this you probably expect to pay that for somebody that quick and that solid. That's not exactly the end of the world to be paying that kind of money. In the centre of the defence, I've gone for the pairing of Bastos and Juan Jesus. So Juan Jesus is pretty well known now. I mean, he's been going for probably since like FIFA 12, FIFA 13, something like that. He seems to be the exact same every year. I swear he's always like 77, 78 overall. His stats are always the same. Really good pace for a centre back. And just kind of like decent to average kind of like defending and physical. He has like absolutely nothing else, but you know, for just like a cheap centre back, it's all you need. Some pace, defending, physical. It'd be nice if he could pass the ball a little bit better, but you just be careful. Just only play sort of like short passes around the back. Don't try anything too extravagant and he'll be absolutely fine. Bastos looks phenomenal, I have to say. He was very solid. I mean, look at that. You're talking like 75 plus in pace, defending and physical. So he's going to be a powerful player to have in the centre of your defence. Again, pretty similar to Juan Jesus in that he's not really got much else going on in the other positions, but the other stats, I should say, sorry, but yeah, he's going to be pretty solid. He is only 5'11", so that is something to sort of bear in mind. But I think, yeah, Juan Jesus is 6'1", so not too bad. I mean, you know, it's not perfect, but then you're never going to get perfect with these sort of players, else they would be worth a lot more. Now, like for example, if you got somebody who's like 5'11", you probably want to partner him with maybe somebody who's sort of like 6'3", 6'4", just to counter that threat in the air. But there's plenty of centre backs who are, you know, smaller than 6 foot who get the job done and they play quite well. I mean, for example, like Umtiti, I'm pretty sure he's like 5'11", maybe 5'10". I think Nathan Ake from Bournemouth, he's under 6 foot as well. Both very good cards, in my personal opinion, last year. So hopefully it should be the same this year. Those sort of players shouldn't be too much at a disadvantage. Bastos is about 1,000 coins. Juan Jesus is actually 2,900, so he's almost at the 3,000 coin mark. But I would say mainly like the majority of his price has been added on because of how well known he is, really. I mean, obviously a lot of people have used him in previous FIFAs, like I said, so automatically that's a tried and trusted centre back, somebody who gets the job done, and people will be very, very confident in picking him up. Whereas somebody like Bastos, who's got pretty similar stats, just because they may not have used him before, they'll be a little bit sort of cautious about going into him, and they may go for somebody else a little bit higher rated, who could be worth the same, or maybe like 500, 1,000 coins more, but they'll be a bit more confident to get the job done. But I reckon Bastos is certainly somebody that I'd be willing to have a punt on, I have to say. Moving on to left back, we've got Dalbert. He was pretty good last year as well. I think he's actually dropped one overall. I think he was like 77 last year. He's still rocking like 91 pace. Not really too much like the defending and physical areas, but he is quite an attacking fullback. As you can see, he's got very good dribbling and passing stats as well. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like Alberto Moreno in the other squad. So just like a raw kind of like pace merchant, could be decent at the start. Again, very, you know, I would sort of recommend at least trying him out. Like most of the players in here, they're worth giving a go. You can't really go wrong with a lot of them, just because of how cheap they are. Like Dalbert, again, he's like 2,500 coins. Now he's pretty similar to Juan Jesus in that because he was so good last year. And to be honest, a lot of people, even in like expensive teams, still stuck with him because they couldn't afford, say for example, Alexandro. Yeah, he's obviously got that value because he's a well-known player and he's trusted. So certainly I would have thought he would be absolutely fine. Moving into midfield, we've got a little bit of a familiar kind of lineup. I mean, these two guys here, I'll move on to them in a second. They were from last year as well, and I've actually used this guy, but there's the guy on the right called Pellegrini. Now, I did use him last year, but I don't think many people use him that much, as he wasn't really that good. He's one of those players, like his face card stats looked good, but I don't think he actually performed particularly well, like in game. I believe he's gone up a couple overalls, so being like 79 now, you know, look at his stats, like they're so well rounded. He obviously his shooting lets him down, but how many midfielders have we seen like that, where they've got good well rounded stats, they just can't shoot? But you know, if you get them into a position where they can't really miss, or it's like a golden opportunity in the game, so you call it sort of like a big chance, and the shooting stat should hopefully not matter too much. Again, good pace, good dribbling, good passing. He's going to be quite a technically gifted player on the ball, so should be quite nice to use. He only weighs at like 850 coins, so that looks like an absolute steal for somebody like that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be wanting to try him out at some point in the early stage of the game. Moving into the centre of the midfield, we have got Kessie. His stats are, I mean, you look down the left side of his card and you sort of like okay, kind of average. I mean, low 70s and all those, but the defensive side of his game, I mean, 78 defending, but 88 physical. The guy, I mean, he ain't gonna get knocked off the ball, is he? He's just gonna run the midfield. And the dribbling as well. When he's got the ball, just hold down, like if you're on PlayStation, hold down L2, just to shield the ball. And, you know, kind of sort of like move up the pitch and shield it. People are not going to be able to touch him. He's going to have way too close control, and his body is just going to shield everything. I mean, it's going to take some player to knock him off the ball. You're going to need like a Pogba or a Wanyama, something like that, to really muscle him out of the way. So certainly somebody who I'd be interested in trying out. 2,000 coins for him. That's pretty much just for the physical stat. It's got to be. The rest of his stats, like I said, fairly solid, but he's definitely getting a bit of a price bump there because of his physical stat. On the left, we've got Zielinski. Now, he's just pure pace and dribbling. Very, like, it's an interesting one, because I would say probably very attacking, but then he can't shoot. So maybe he's like almost a little bit, maybe like an Adam Lallana, in that he's the sort of player, quite technically gifted, will be quite graceful on the ball, will get you into some nice areas, like he'll get you up the pitch, but you will certainly want to pass it on to one of the front three who's got more of a chance of scoring a goal, but he'll get you out of tight areas. And if he's got anything like what his stats were last year, there you go, 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills as well. The 5-star weak foot is going to be so handy, so handy. But the ability to shoot off either foot is so useful in FIFA. It's like, it's one of the things which I really look for. I certainly look more at weak foot than I do at skill moves. Decent height as well, medium work rates, that's okay. I mean, high would probably be better, but it depends what formation you're going for. It really just depends. Obviously in this particular one, I've literally just put like a bog standard 4-3-3, just because I couldn't really find many strikers, so I didn't really want to have any more than one striker in the team. So yeah, for this one he'd be quite good, but it just depends what you want to play. Moving into the front three though, I've gone for, it's a bit of an interesting one. So I'll start with like Joel Campbell. Out of all the players that I've got in the squad, I wouldn't say, so I've got other right sided midfielders on the bench. Now I wouldn't say he's the best one. That's not why I've put him in the starting lineup. I've actually just put him in just because I quite like him. I liked him when he was in the Premier League. He's one of those like unpredictable players. He's got talent, but he just seems to struggle to utilise it like regularly. But as a FIFA player, just like a cheap guy to pick up, he's not too bad. And I'd be willing to use him for a few games, but certainly you guys might not want to use him as like a starter. Maybe just like a super sub. That'd be understandable. He's only like 500 coins, so clearly not many people seem to value him as that good of a player, but his stats aren't too bad. Yeah, he'd be a decent option, certainly off the bench. Just say as well, actually guys, Zielinski, I'm not sure if I mentioned, like 1,500 coins as well. Again, really cheap. I mean, he's cheaper than Kessie, and I would look at Zielinski and think that he'd be much better. On the left side of the attack, I've gone for Gervinho. I don't think he was in the game last year. To be honest, I completely forgot. Until I saw the card in the concept squads, I forgot that he was a footballer, I have to say. Now, whether or not, I wouldn't have thought he's been at Parma this whole time. I don't know if he's been at Parma in like the Serie B, because obviously they just got promoted at the end of last year. I honestly don't know. He could have been something they picked up when they got promoted. But again, he's not a bad player. Not bad at all. He's good. He's got good pace, good dribbling, all the sort of things we're looking for in a winger. He's only 500 coins as well. So you can't really go wrong with something like that. If you're just using it in, say, like squad battles at the start, maybe not online, just squad battles and I don't know, like offline seasons. I'm guessing that's still in the game. He's not going to be too bad. He's really not going to be too bad. A decent little player. Moving into the striker position now, I've gone for Martinez. He is a new sign actually for Inter. Quite a big money signing for somebody, I think he's quite young. And he's got very good stats in all the areas which I'd say matter. He could do with slightly better passing, but as I said before, you can't expect everything from somebody that's going to be this cheap. And maybe like he could do with a little bit more pace to really burn away from some of the top defenders, but 83 is good. 78 dribbling, 77 shooting, and 81 physical. I mean, it's phenomenal for a 79. So good for a 79. He's 2,700 coins at the moment, so you can see that a lot of the FIFA community think that he's going to be a very, very sort of sweaty and like go-to card, especially at the start. He has 4-star, 4-star as well. I mean, he's got a lot, to be honest, this guy. He's 5'9", that's a good height. For somebody with those stats, that's a good height. He's not going to feel clunky, he's going to feel really nice on the ball. And he should do bits, I would have thought. So, he's the striker option there. I don't actually have any reserves. So, I've only gone for like just the 7 subs on this one. And I'll start it off with a striker. We've got a guy called Lasagna. So he's got a pretty tasty card, this guy. He's got 88 pace. I mean, that's probably all that time he's been running away from Garfield, to be honest. He's built up that speed there, but he's got 77 dribbling, 74 shooting, and 64 physical. Now, 64 physical, I think you can understand. I mean, I look at the guy, when I see those stats, I imagine him to be quite short. I don't know how tall he is. He's 6'1", to be fair. That's mad. 6'1" with 88 pace, 77 dribbling, 74 shot. That guy could be decent. I mean, it's worrying the 64 physical that, you know, he could get knocked off the ball and he could feel a little bit clumsy, but I think with those stats being 6'1", that's really good. I would almost be tempted to say be up there with Martinez. I mean, you're never going to know until you use him in game, and obviously there's different various like traits and other in-game stats that I don't sort of see here, which could change my opinion, but I've got this guy as 750 coins. That's an absolute bargain. 750 coins for that guy. I mean, I'm just going to say it right now. Buy him. Try him out. What's the risk? What is the risk with that? That's a big opportunity there to find an absolute hidden gem. Another striker there, to be honest, this is one I kind of just put him in, just to give him his moment, really. There's Lapadula. He's like 400 coins. It's understandable. The only reason really is that I used him last year at the start, and he was, for some reason, he was quite clinical. I don't know why. His stats really didn't look that impressive, but he was quite clinical. His stats don't really scream anything to me. Very bog standard, but because of what he did for me last year, I would be willing to potentially give him a go this year. But I don't know. It depends what formation. If I was playing a 1 up front, I probably wouldn't, just because of like Martinez and Lasagna. But yeah, if I was playing 2 up front, I would potentially maybe just consider going for these two, because they'd get obviously a strong link. Sorry, and yeah, obviously this guy's a little bit more. So yeah, just a player to sort of consider there. As a backup left winger, I'll probably butcher this guy's name. Machis? I'm not really sure. I would say probably more like Machis. I think that's Venezuela he's from. 90 pace, 79 dribbling, only 75 overall. Just a a pure kind of pace merchant, I only really put him in there as an option just in case, because obviously Jovino only had like 84 pace. So if you wanted somebody a little bit quicker, then that could be a guy to go for. Not much end product, but then Jovino stats aren't much different, so you could certainly give that guy a go. He's only like 800 coins as well. All these players, guys, are literally not even 1,000 coins. I mean, it's gonna be so easy to pick them up. It's really not difficult. There's also Justin Kluivert as well. He's probably, I don't know if I'd say he's the best out of the lot. I mean, I think a lot of it's kind of like stereotypical because of his dad, and people see his card and just think that he's gonna perform like his dad, essentially. I suppose his card isn't really much different. I mean, there's, you know, sort of talking 89, 80, 90, 79, so there's nothing in that really. You know, they all add up to the same there. Both got 72 shot. This guy's got slightly better passing. He's got slightly better physical. He's got slightly better defense as well. So his card is actually ever so slightly better. But I think, I'll admit, I'd probably do it. I'd probably go for Kluivert just because of the name. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's something to do with like 4-star, 4-star. What's this guy got? Maybe he's got like 2-star something. No, 4-star, 4-star as well. So honestly, you could go for either there. You really couldn't go wrong with either one you go for if you didn't want to go for Jovino. Kluivert is coming in at about 950 coins, so again, pretty cheap. Only ever so slightly more expensive than Marquise, probably just because of the name, like I said. On the right side, if you didn't want to go for Joel Campbell, there is Cengiz Under from Roma. He's quite a technical player. He's not exactly like blessed with blistering pace, but 83 pace coupled with the 81 dribbling, 75 shooting and 74 passing, that's going to be pretty useful. If you didn't want to start him and if you wanted to bring him on in cam, say something like that, he would be, oh my god, he'd be phenomenal. He would be just absolutely sensational with that. I don't know if he's got, maybe he's got some decent things there, so like 4-star weak foot, left footed, 5'8". He's going to feel pretty good on the ball. And with 4-star weak foot, that's quite useful, especially if you put him in the centre in cam, so he could literally just weave in and out, go either way, take shots on with both feet. He'd be quite useful. He's only 500 coins. Like, again, 500 coins, man. I mean, how can they justify somebody with like stats like that to be only 500 coins? I mean, I'm sure they'll probably go up when the game comes out. People might use him and realise that he's actually quite good. He might go up to like 1,000, 1,500, something like that. But if you want to get him right now, 500 coins, like, I could buy him if I wanted to. I don't know if I will, because I'm just gonna wait until like maybe like 1 or 2 days before the game drops. So either like tomorrow or Monday, I'll probably have like a little bit more of a look in terms of like investments, what I want to do. But I'm still trying to sell some different players that I bought for a weekly objective, so I need to wait till I kind of like get all my coins back and they regenerate for me. So yeah, I don't really have a plan in that sense, but that's something you could pick up. Another option as well, if you don't want to go for him, there is Marusic. He's 800 coins as well. That's a guy that I wouldn't necessarily start him, but I'd pick him up and just whack him in centre midfield. I mean, look at the stats. He's got 70 plus and everything, but he's got 84 pace. If you play somebody who's got, you know, clearly he can do everything. He's got good numbers in every single area of his card, but he's got that energy and that pace to get about the pitch. I mean, he's going to be pretty useful. He's 6'1", 4-star, 4-star. He'd be a fantastic centre midfielder. He'd be so good in the middle of the park. I mean, I know there's a lot of competition. Don't get me wrong, there's different players there that you could go for, and there is one more who you guys, you know, you recognise the face and you're probably squirming right now seeing him because he's probably given you nightmares all of last year, but I don't think he's going to be as good as what he was last year, this year. I mean, fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping, but yeah, that guy, put him in centre mid, give him a go. Like I said, 800 coins, it's nothing, it's an absolute steal. But I'm going to finish up with this one last guy. We've got Timu Bakayoko. Obviously he made the move to AC Milan because he kind of flopped at Chelsea a little bit. Didn't really I don't know if it's difficult to say. Obviously, it's one season. I don't know why it went wrong for him at Chelsea. It could be any of a number of things, sort of like it could have been him, it could have been the manager, it could have been the formation. He might not have liked England. There's loads of different things that go into a player sort of having a bad season or moving to a club and having a bad experience. But I'm sure he'll be back, if not this year, maybe in a couple of years' time. He'll find the right club for himself again. Hopefully for him it'll be Milan. His card has obviously dropped a little bit. It doesn't look as good, but I still feel like he could be a decent player. He's valued at the moment about 1,400 coins, so clearly there are people out there that think that he will be decent for the early stage of the game, because he's obviously valued a little bit more than some of the other players I've mentioned, who, you know, their cards look pretty good. But yeah, it's certainly going to be worth trying out for sure. I mean, I'd definitely go for him. I think you'll see him in a lot of squads because people will remember how good he was last year, and they'll expect him to be pretty similar in standard. Whether or not he will be, I don't know, but certainly it's going to be pretty fun to find out. In terms of how much all of this costs in total, just this starting lineup I've got written down as about 16.5k. So fairly similar to the last one. It's only about 1,000 coins cheaper than the Premier League squad, which I put together. 16.5k is going to be, you know, that's like nothing. There's different SBCs which get you about 12,000 coin rewards, so if you can get them done, you pretty much do it. Now the price could change, it could go up, obviously, because there's going to be more demand for players, so they could go up in price. But yeah, you don't really know in terms of the market with some of these, because some of them might not be that good, some of them could be better than others. It just depends on what people like, what opinion people have of these certain players, and it'll affect their price. So don't kind of quote me on these prices, but I'm just kind of trying to give you like a rough idea at the moment. And if you wanted to pick up some of the subs as well, which I put in there, and then just to buy as like an overall squad, then you're looking at about 22k. So only probably like not even 6,000 coins more for the bench. So yeah, pretty obtainable, pretty affordable. 22,000 coins is not too bad at all. It's much cheaper than the Premier League one. I think probably not as many people would go for a Serie A one, even though it is been touted as possibly one of the go-to leagues this year, just because some of the players aren't as well known. But that's where you get your hidden gems, guys. This is where if you find a player, you pick him up right now for like say for example Cengiz Ünder, you pick him up right now for 500 coins, and then suddenly everybody realizes that he's really good. He's going to increase in price, and you're going to make money on him. So that's obviously one of the pros of buying a team like this. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I can't really sort of say much more about these particular players without making this video sort of become a bit boring and regurgitating what I'm saying. So yeah, hopefully you found this kind of like useful, and I don't know, you might kind of pick up some of these players and they might help you at the start of the game. So if you did find this video sort of interesting and insightful, then feel free to drop a like on it and comment, let me know what you think, see if there's any players that I might have missed out, or if you just disagree with any of my choices. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, then feel free to do that, and turn the notifications on as well, just so you get the notifications for when my latest videos do drop. Yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.